Welcome back again. We are live on Monday, June the 5th for another Tech Talk. And today we're going to look at Adobe Pro a little bit. That is software that is installed on one machine in every office of the schools that you can use for all sorts of additional PDF features that you wouldn't be able to do and manipulate and change with the regular Adobe Reader app. So one of the things you can do there that's nice is you can combine files together. So we're going to take a look at how you're able to combine a bunch of files together all into one PDF file. In this case, they are PDF files that I'm using, but you can actually use a variety of different types of files. But we're going to open that up and take a look. So what I would have here, first off, I've got a folder with some PDF files in it. Now I could just double click this, and for me anyway, it's going to launch the Adobe Pro version. Now when I right click on this, I have the option of open with Adobe Acrobat DC. That would be the correct name for it. I keep calling it Pro, but that is the correct version rather than, say, Adobe Reader, which we all have installed on our machines everywhere. If I were to go to open with, that's where you're going to see both Reader version that we all have and then just Acrobat DC. So in my case, I've used this before. I've set that up as my default Adobe app for opening these files. So that's why if I were to just double click, I'm immediately going to get that app open. The other thing I can do is hit my start button, my Windows button here, and I can find Adobe DC on the list there. And I can click it that way. So I'm opening it without actually touching a file to begin with. And when that happens, it's going to look more like this. Let's get that over. There we go. It's showing me some recent files, so I've got a bunch of stuff listed there. But I could also just go, let's see, files, my computer. I could start browsing for stuff that way, including the ones that I was just looking at there. But what I want to do before I get into any of that, let me just go back to, well, home. I don't need any of this. I'm going to look at the top here and find tools. And the tools are going to show me my sidebar here. I've got a batch of stuff that I've kind of pinned to the sidebar already because you can manipulate this in terms of what's there and what isn't. So do I have, yeah, I've combined files right there on that toolbar already. And I'm also seeing it right here in that first grouping of icons. But if that was not on the toolbar, go away. Instead of seeing open here, what I see, there it is, it just updated itself. I see add. So if you see add on any of the tools on the tools page here, you can just click add and they will end up being added to the sidebar. I'm just going to click it. I just want to initiate that particular feature. So this is how it looks when I do it with no files at all. It brings me right away to add files by clicking the button below or drag and drop them here. So the drag and drop is nice. I already had that folder open with my files in it. Here it is, which means I could certainly grab them and just drag them and drop them right here on the page. So that's option one for sure. If I instead were to use add files, I can hit on that guy. Pops up a window. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to grab that combined files. And now I'm just going to do similarly, go ahead and click and drag all four of those. So that seems very similar. And why would you do one over the other? The difference really is that here I could grab, say, that file and then open, and then I'm going to add files, and I would go to another folder and get a couple more files, and another folder and a couple more files. And I didn't have to have, four separate windows all just floating open at the same time. So in a lot of cases, it's not going to change things, but let me go ahead and highlight those, say open, and there's my four files. So these have a couple pages to them each, and then there's a one-pager and a one-pager. So this is just a newsletter from Jack Callahan. And with this little arrow here, I'm going to move that to the front if I can. Let's see. Oh, not the arrow, just drag it. Click and drag. So that's the first one. And then I'm going to have this info for schools, and then this one-pager and another one-pager. So let me change the order again. I'm going to grab him, bring him over there. Perfect. So that little arrow, I was thinking left and right, but what it's doing is spreading this out and showing me the two pages that exist here. So if I decided, you know what, I don't need page 2 on this particular document, I could get rid of that as well. Dump it. There we go. Same thing here. Let's take a peek. And maybe these are all really important, so I'll leave them like that. I don't, yes, I could. Huh. I can grab these one pagers and I could actually insert it right between page 2 and 3 of this initial document. So these are grouped together because that's one document. When I open it up, I can then grab individual pages and drop them right between here. So it's almost like dropping advertisements into the middle of my newsletter. So we'll do that. just for something different, just to see how it's going to function. And then at that point, I come up to the top and I can look at add files. If I need to add in some more files, if I need to scan something or maybe a copied image on my clipboard or something, I could do that. I've got options here. When I click that, we can look and see we've got things like always enable accessibility and reflow. So we want the accessibility features as often as we can. Just makes it more useful to more people, basically. Always add bookmarks to Adobe PDF. So bookmarks are going to be a little side panel that allow you to find the different headers, chapter beginnings, and things like that within your document, titles and such that have been set up, depending on if you've got any bookmarks set up at all. Continue combining if an error occurs. Yeah, we'll go ahead and continue combining. That's fine. Save as a PDF portfolio. Well, I'm not creating any specific portfolio style documents here. All I want to do is save it as PDF. That's it. Nothing fancy or weird. And then always delete the source files after combining. I'm not checking that one either. Maybe there are times where you want to do that. You've got a batch of files that you know you're combining together to create a newsletter, and you don't need them as separate files after that. You can go ahead and delete the source files, and then you're left with just your one file that's been all combined. But I'm going to leave that alone for right now and go ahead and say OK. And then at the very top, I'm going to hit combine. That's going to start looking at all that stuff, and there it is. It's now renamed, this new, well, not renamed, it's a brand new file, so it's just got a name. It says binder1.pdf, and if I take a peek at my thumbnails, I can see that page 2 is that one page, I'm calling it an ad that I slipped into the middle of the newsletter, and then you've got page 2 of the newsletter, followed by my next little ad, the last page of the newsletter, and finally the last little image that I slot in there, or the last page of single page document that I slotted in there as well. So I've now got this 6-page document to work with called, like I said, binder1.pdf. I can go up to File and just say Save As. I can go to Properties if I want to, and from there, let's see, can I change the name right from here? Advanced. I was looking to see if I could maybe change that name, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to go ahead and say Cancel. There, Cancel. And that's going to give me that option there. So I've got lots of things across the top here. I can zoom in and zoom out and view it in different ways. Multiple pages if I want to, full width. I can insert comments and do a bunch of other sort of PDF tasks and things to it. I can edit it if I need to. But really what I wanted to make sure is just that I've created that brand new file from the original. So if this was like a cover page with a resume with some references and you need to put it all together into one file to submit, you could do that. If you had, different parts of a project you've got, or a report, you've got sort of the main document that has an abstract that needs to go at the beginning, and then you've got some additional, there would be references like appendices that you want to add to the end. That would be another option. Whatever the case is that you need to combine a bunch of files together for whoever. So I can say File, Save As. And in fact, I'm going to test it here. If I just say Save, will it prompt me for a name? File. Let me go back to my Binder 1. There we go. File, Save. And I'm going to say I want to put it in this Combine folder. And yes, it's immediately prompting me for a name because it presumes I don't really want Binder 1 as my name. So I'm going to call this JCP News with Ads. Save. And there we go. So that's down there. And if I were to pull up that folder that I had open earlier, I can see that now I have the 4 files that I'd previously selected, and then this new one, JCP News with Ads. And I'm ready to grab that and throw it into School Messenger or wherever else I need to send this file. So an easy lesson today, very simple. Definitely explore the various options that you've got over at the side here when you are using Adobe DC. I know not everybody has access to it, but it is an option in your offices that if you have things that need to be edited, need to be combined together, need to be potentially split apart, because that's also a sort of an option as well. If I need to take that and pull out one of those ad pages and resave the newsletter, that's certainly a choice as well. But today we just wanted to combine a few files together and make one brand new file. So hopefully that was helpful. There'll still be posted, of course, on the Tech Talk page, and it'll be there with all the other information on the Adobe page as well. So um, have a great week, and we'll be looking forward to seeing everybody during the summer series of workshops that we're doing, probably on Mondays and Wednesdays over the course of the summer. So if you've got suggestions for those, go ahead and get them in on the suggestion form, and use the one right on the Tech Talk page, and let us know what you'd like to learn about this summer.